tell me it gets better in time.
So the first sexual harassment that I can remember is one day when I was at work, I was charging on a computer and a resident rolled up in his wheelchair and just put his hand on my breast. And I kind of jumped back and asked him what he was doing. And he asked me, "What, don't you like it?" And I told him no, and I removed myself from the situation. But since he was in and out, like not with it sometimes, there wasn't really anything we could do about it.
I was working at Go and Go, and my boss actually told me when he hired me, I'm gonna hire you because you got a nice ass. And I was like, nice. I need this job, so I'm just going to not say anything and let you hire me for that reason. But then while I was working, my boss would totally give me ass slaps. And I was like, dude, that is 10,000% not okay by any law or standard that Come and Go upholds.
When I was really young, I was at a video store. I was buying CDs with my friends, and I was looking at the CDs, and I felt somebody grab my ass, and can I say ass butt? And I was really shocked, and I turned around, and I was going to say something. I was going to say, no, you can't do that, or something of that sort. But I turned around, and it was actually a person in a wheelchair, and so I kind of just turned back around and didn't do anything about it, and let him continue on.
Grade, age 13, I had a math teacher who used to make me pick up pencils and rulers and papers off the floor on purpose so that he could watch me bend over. That wasn't just me, it was other students as well. There were kids talked about it to the principal, but it was never brought up. They just thought we were being kids.
I would ride the bus to middle school, but we had to stop in between. And I remember we were coming home one day, and we were stopping at the other school in between my drop-off, and about 4 guys who would pick on me consistently, they'd all hold me down, and they kept slapping my leg and slapping and leaving handprints, and then they'd take turns slapping my butt. I mean, at the time I was laughing about it, but now I think about it, and it's kind of wrong. I had 4 guys slapping me all over my body and no one did anything.
And then when I would go do volleyball, I would have my brothers pass around and they'd be like, "Oh wow, you looked really good during volleyball." And I didn't understand what that meant. I'm like, "What, is my stance good? Did I do a good bump?" But I didn't really know what that meant, I guess. I didn't know that he was looking at my body. You would hear of the guys just coming to volleyball tournaments just to see your butt, not actually watch the game. It's very demeaning and made what you wore be more of the attention than the game you were playing.
I think I was 8. I used to walk home from school every day, and I'd have to walk past the high school in an alley. And I was dressed like a normal 8-year-old, wearing jeans and a t-shirt. And these high school boys came up behind me and started whistling at me and being you got a good butt. I was 8 years old. I didn't do anything. I just kept walking and ignoring them. And I don't know, I think that's a ridiculous thing for an 8-year-old to have to deal with. Anyone to have to deal with, but especially an 8-year-old.
I was sexually harassed by a coworker on multiple occasions. This coworker happened to be gay, and I worked right next to him most of the time. He came up to me when I was dealing with a customer and said, "Hey, me and a friend went to, would it be okay if we just invited you over and maybe sucked your dick or something like that?" I was just like, dude, I'm dealing with a customer, and that makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable. And I reported him to HR, and HR told me that I'm a guy, I should get over it. You're stronger than this. You can definitely just tell the guy just to step off, and if anything, you should be flattered that he's flirting with you.
So it was my freshman year of high school, and I was dating the first person I had ever dated before, and we had been dating for about 6 months, and he was just really clingy. He wasn't a super great guy, so I decided I was going to break up with him, and I didn't know how I was going to do it because I was pretty nervous, because I didn't know how he would react. I said the classic line, I said, "It's not you, it's me," and then we just kept talking, and he was pretty upset, and I didn't want him to think that he had been a good boyfriend because he hadn't been, so I said, "Actually, it was you." And that's kind of when he snapped, and he got really angry, and I guess he just wasn't happy about some of the things I hadn't given him in a relationship. Like, we had never had sex. We had only kissed a few times. And so before I knew what was happening, he just grabbed my hands and he wouldn't let go of my hands. And he started kissing me and he started moving my hands around, and I kept telling him no, I kept telling him to get off, but he wouldn't. I guess people don't know that no means no, and so he didn't stop until I started screaming.